wants to make it a two-possession game. Anderson says, Sean McVay, you made the right call. Touchdown Rams.
Could not forget from back in January. What up? We're cover 3ing today with Barry, Dave, and
adjusting our coverage. We read something from the offense. Making adjustments.
Exactly. There
Crucial
we go.
late season adjustments.
I don't hate it.
Playoff push.
Taylor's coming back. I'm not. Everybody calm down.
Yes, don't worry. She will be back, but we've got to talk about, Barry, where were you when you were watching that Cowboys-Rams game in January, and what were you thinking?
I was on the couch just, sitting at home watching this game, and I was surprised at how the way C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley were kind of just knifing their way through this Cowboys defense. It was pretty embarrassing, but, I'm glad I wasn't a part of it.
I love Barry keeping his mind on what's really important, which is saving face, obviously.
Oh, yes.
200-plus rushing yards in that game. I'm still not over it.
Let's see what Jason Garrett and Ezekiel Elliott together are saying about preparation for this game in locker room talk.
Yeah, it's all ahead of us. We'll control our destiny. We just got to go out there and win ball games. So, everything that's happened has already happened. Can't change it. So, got to focus on now, on this week, this game plan, and go out there and win this Sunday.
What's the biggest challenge of the Rams' run defense?
99. He's probably been the most disruptive player in the league the past 3 years, and he does it all. And just you got to know where he is at all times.
What's your message to your team coming into this week?
Yeah, the biggest thing we have to do is just, reinforce what we need to do to play winning football. And there are a lot of things that go with that. And we're going to focus on each day of preparation to go play our best football this week.
Winning football, preparation for this week.
Can you prove that any of that was said leading up to this game and not all the other games? Like, can you prove that? I know it was because I was there for all of it, which I don't blame Jason Garrett or Ezekiel Elliott for that matter. Like, these are the questions they're getting because this is what keeps happening. Like, it sounds like a broken record because what else can you say? Like, Zeke said it yesterday. He was like, it's all out in front of us. The urgency's got to be at an all-time high, which he's right, but that's been the case for about a month now. And it's like snowballing. Eventually, it's not all going to be out in front of them.
This is true.
So, which ironically, it won't be the case after this game. Like, they can't get knocked out of the division race in this game. But just week after week of very similar storylines.
The same old, same old. The only thing that's been consistent with this team this whole season, I think, has been the inconsistencies, if that makes sense. 1 week the offense will put up 28 points, defense will give up 31. Next week, defense holds them to 12, offense can only score 10. Special teams hasn't showed up all year. There's a lot of inconsistencies with this defense. It's hard to see what we'll see the rest of the season.
Complimentary football happen, and isn't it frustrating when you're on one side of the ball? And defense has not played well in the last 3 games, but if you're on the defense, are you kind of looking at the offense saying, hey, you know what I mean? It's so imbalanced.
I just can't wash the taste of that Bears game out of my mouth. And no, the offense was not good. But man, that defensive effort
looked pretty bad.
Not great. 19 missed tackles, 4 consecutive scoring drives by Mitchell Trubisky, not Aaron Rodgers.
Lamar Trubisky?
Exactly, Lamar Trubisky. We're not even talking about one of the better quarterbacks in the league. It just hasn't been there. And hey, the Cowboys, every possibility they could turn it around, but what evidence do we have over the last 3 weeks that it will be different on Sunday?
Completely agree.
Go behind enemy lines and talk about some of these matchups that are going to be happening in this game. David, how has Jordan Lewis been playing, do you, since he's kind of stepped in to the slot role?
I think he's played well for the most part, but the thing that concerns me is one of those times when he didn't play well was against a really good slot receiver by the name of Cole Beasley. Did not handle that challenge very well. Cole Beasley went over 100, had a touchdown in that Bills beatdown on Thanksgiving. Well, guess what? The St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams, geez, it's been 4 years. The Rams have 2 fantastic receivers who can both play in the slot. Cooper Kupp being one of them. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. Robert Woods, another big-bodied receiver who can play inside and outside. These guys are fantastic. Yes. They're much bigger than Jordan. Look, I'm a short guy too. I'm not throwing shade. It's just true. They're big-bodied receivers who can make plays inside and outside. I'm terrified of what this challenge could mean for Jordan. I hope he's up to it.
We shall see.
I don't like it. I don't like the thought of just an offense. And the Rams are second in the league in yards after catch and what they're doing with that.
Ooh.
And that's, yeah.
They are on a roll the last 3 weeks, for sure.
All right, here we go with my matchup. It's pretty much the easiest one of all time because it's Aaron Donald versus the world. I had a chance to talk with Jason Garrett yesterday for a moment, and he agreed with me that, yes, you're probably looking at the best player in the NFL on Sunday on the defensive line there. He's going to draw so much attention, and he's going to take 2 guys at least to even keep him away from Dak Prescott, who has an injury to both of his hands. He's practicing. He's going to be fine. He's going to play, but I think he might know that. I think he might be going after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is true.
A little bit.
This is true.
Maybe the best pass rusher in the NFL today. Not maybe.
Yep.
Definitely.
Especially coming from the interior. I mean, as a quarterback seeing that, that's like nightmares going on.
Barry?
Yes, indeed.
Feeling optimistic about yours?
Make us feel better.
I don't know if I'm going to make you feel better, but I have a different type of matchup. I don't have a player on player. I have a coach on coach. This is Kellen Moore versus the son of bum, Wade Phillips. Now, this is going to be a tough matchup for Kellen Moore. I mean, Wade Phillips is one of the best defensive minds in the NFL right now. His defense is coming along strong. His defensive line, as we just mentioned, they're going great. I mean, they have Dante Fowler, Brockers, Aaron Donald, as we mentioned. It's going to be hard for Kellen Moore to try to decide what he should do with this offense. But a mini matchup in between that will be Jalen Ramsey versus Amari Cooper. I'm interested to see what Kellen Moore will do with that. Jalen Ramsey, he can pretty much run with anybody out there. He's physical, he's strong, and we've seen that give Amari Cooper trouble in the past. So Kellen Moore, he might want to put Amari Cooper into a couple pre-snap motions or line him in stacks, line him in bunches to kind of back off Ramsey's coverage to get Amari Cooper open, get him the ball. But this will be a touch matchup overall for both parties. But I gotta lean towards the Wade Phillips, Jalen Ramsey. There's just too much talent, too much experience.
Amari being banged up. I mean,
Especially
those are some great points, but I just worry about teams week after week after week seeing Amari wincing on the sidelines, hopping off the field.
Wade Phillips helped Denver win a Super Bowl with 2 great cornerbacks who could lock down their man and let the pass rush take care of business. Aaron Donald's great. I don't think this Rams pass rush is on Denver's level from 3-4 years ago.
Agree.
But I also know Wade Phillips likes to bring pressure from all over the place. I think Dak Prescott needs to have his hot reads worked out a little bit better than he did in Chicago.
Let's see if Kellen can get him.
Throwback Thursday, Cowboys, Rams. You saw a little bit of it at the beginning of the show, but let's go back to 2017, the last time the Rams were in town, 35-30. Todd Gurley finished with 121 yards on the ground, 94 in the air.
Cowboys were killing this game.
They were.
And
watching.
I'm not trying to talk mess on Ryan Switzer, but he muffed a punt that gave the Rams the ball in their red zone.
That was big.
Brutal.
No, that was huge.
They couldn't do anything with Todd Gurley. This was a missed opportunity.
Take a look at the score, 35-30. I think that is what it's going to take to even run with the Rams. You got to put up around 30 points for this Cowboys offense.
This is true.
I would be pretty shocked if the winner of this game didn't score 30 points for sure.
2011, DeMarco Murray rushed for a franchise record 253 yards.
He's a
highlighted
rookie.
by
As a rookie.
91-yard touchdown run.
This was kind of like his coming out party. I mean, he was kind of splitting time with Felix Jones at the time, and then when this happened, he exploded on the scene like this. We all were like, all right, this is his team now.
91
Man.
yards.
The Rams were like, sorry at this point.
I think they were still in St. Louis.
They were like Dolphins level, like, oh,
It was
what is
bad.
going
Sammy
on?
B
It was
was their
bad.
quarterback. Oh, back in the day.
Oh, you, boomer.
2007, Tony Romo put off the greatest 3-yard run in franchise. This was my favorite Tony play.
I forgot
on Cover
about
4,
this
like
play.
a couple years ago. Remember
This is your
one?
favorite Tony play?
Yes.
He gained didn't he gain
But
like 5 yards?
It encapsulates
He got the
who
first down.
He
He did get the first.
Yes. And who's that block right there?
Give me the J.J. Watt spin pass over this. But like,
What?
That was awesome.
but also this is incredible. Way to go, Tony. Slippery.
Cowboys beat the Rams 35-7. That one's easy. There you go. That's 2-minute drill for this week.
No, that's Throwback Thursday. This is 2-minute drill.
This is 2-minute drill. Thank you, David.
Get it
I'm
together,
looking
Draper.
ahead. I need to just focus on one thing at a time.
Focus on being great today.
Let's
One
talk
thing at a
about
time.
Zeke. Let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott and the running back situation. My question for you guys, has the season hurt the value of paying the running back top dollar?
This is a perfect matchup to be talking about this because Todd Gurley's part of this too.
Yes, he is.
The Rams gave him it's crazy. Todd Gurley and Zeke have completely reset the running back market. And at this juncture in the season, Gurley's at 700 yards. He's not been as much of the passing game as he thought. People are worried about his health. Zeke having a nice season. I don't think anybody is convinced he's living up to the $90 million contract at this point. So I want to ask you how you feel about it. I already know how I feel.
100% right. I think the Todd Gurley situation last year happened. You got Le'Veon Bell this year as well. I mean, he's another one not playing up too well. I mean, Zeke's not having a bad season by any stretch of the imagination, but when you give somebody $90 million, you're thinking, I need the rushing champ plus an MVP candidate, and I'm not sure if we're seeing that right now.
What's hard is knowing that Jerry was put in a position where he backs against the wall, had to get him here for the season. I mean, he wasn't here for training camp. We saw how that kind of affected how he was early on in the year, but you had to put all the money on the table because you looked at your roster and thought, you know what, without Zeke, we're not going to the Super Bowl. And that's what's so disappointing from this season is you pushed it all in for Zeke, you got Zeke, but the rest of the team around him hasn't been anything.
Here's
going to carry you to the Super Bowl now.
I think my feeling about this is you can get away with paying a running back this kind of money, but he's got to play like Gurley did a couple years ago when he won MVP. Or remember when Le'Veon was running for 1,200 and catching 80 passes on top of that, literally leading rusher, number 2 receiver on your team. That's the type of production you need. And for the record, I think Zeke is capable of that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He needs to be in a better scheme, better play calls, better utilized in the passing game, in my opinion. Complement himself with the passing game more often. I don't mind that they're paying him because he's 23 years old.
Yeah, look at it.
You can get away with it, but they're not maximizing that. Like if you're gonna pay a guy and have him take up this much of your cap, you got to use him more. And I know that sounds crazy for a 1,000-yard rusher, but you do.
Coaching-wise, things should maybe switched up. Try new things to get more out of him.
Yes, I think they could.
We
don't. I mean, the screen game is non-existent most of the season.
I don't understand.
I'll never understand it, Barry. There's more you can do with him. Maybe you shouldn't pay a running back this much, but Zeke is a guy you can get away with paying.
Because
they're just not using him as much as they could, in my opinion.
Cover 3. That's all we got for today. We will be back tomorrow, Friday, to kick everything off for Cowboys Rams weekend for you. We'll see you back here tomorrow.